A live look now at the Capitol tonight, where the fentanyl bill is getting a committee hearing. It's one of the most high-profile bills this session, and lawmakers expect testimony to stretch into the early morning hours. It is a packed room filled with families who lost loved ones to this synthetic opiate, as well as law enforcement officials on the front lines of this crisis. The bill would change the criminal penalties and provide millions for treatment and public awareness.
But passage is not a sure thing despite a rapidly worsening health crisis. A few years ago, the drug was barely talked about. Not anymore. Since 2019, deadly fentanyl overdoses in Colorado have jumped 260%. One of the cases that pushed the emergency into the spotlight recently was in Commerce City. 5 people died in one apartment when they used cocaine laced with fentanyl. Police still trying to track down who sold them the drug. CBS 4's Karen Morfa talked with a woman whose husband died after taking what he thought was a prescription pain reliever. Want to start, though, with our political specialist, Sean Boyd. Sean, you have been following the very emotional debate at the Capitol.
Jim, more than 150 people showed up here to testify on this. Police and prosecutors, public defenders and medical providers, and dozens of parents who gave just agonizing testimony about losing their kids to fentanyl.
I literally feel like a piece of my soul has been ripped from me.
Parent.
I lost my only 2 sons to fentanyl poisoning.
After parent.
And I kept my hand on his chest until his heart quit beating.
After parent told state lawmakers their child was poisoned with fentanyl and prosecutors could do little to hold the killer responsible.
The day Alex's heart stopped, mine broke.
These are murders that are happening with no investigations.
A bill by Speaker Alec Garnett and Representative Mike Lynch aimed at changing that. It makes distribution of even small amounts of fentanyl a felony, whether the person knows it's fentanyl or not, and requires mandatory prison for distribution resulting in death, depending on the amount of fentanyl sold. District attorneys say the bill doesn't go far enough.
Now, life is a life, and it should not be tied in any way to the amount of fentanyl that is distributed.
But medical providers and public defenders say the bill goes too far.
Scientific evidence demonstrates that criminalization simply doesn't work.
I'm asking that you not felonize possessing fentanyl, but instead devote the money into community-based treatment resources and prevention.
But the most contested provision in the bill is around possession, not distribution.
Because this drug is so lethal, we must use every tool at our disposal to get it off the streets.
Under the bill, possession of 4 grams or less of fentanyl remains a misdemeanor, even though 2 milligrams is deadly. Some prosecutors argued possession of even trace amounts should be a felony.
We simply cannot go on treating fentanyl, this deadly poison, the same as, frankly, a shoplifting ticket.
You're telling someone who's already risking their life by taking a drug that they may, in fact, be looking at a few extra months in jail.
An impasse over the issue could kill the bill.
If this bill dies, people will continue to die at a tragic and alarming rate.
Lowering the amount of fentanyl among the amendments that will be introduced tonight, and it could cost sponsors the support of some Democrats. But if that amendment doesn't pass, the bill is almost certain to fail. Republican leader of the House, Hugh McKean, told me if the amendment passes, there are enough Republicans supporting the bill to get it out of the House. But first, it has to get out of committee tonight, and that is not guaranteed. Live at the Capitol, Sean Boyd covering Colorado First.